for coming.
Now forgive us, this is our first con, so if it goes, it's not panel, I need coffee. So if it goes a little cuckoo, please forgive us.
I'm thinking like, you all are like three types of audience I have right now. You're either A, heard about Faden, or genuinely curious about how to get into it. B, you know a little bit about Fate, you know the main stuff, but you're kind of wondering what's more. Or C, I know some of you have Fate for an order and probably just want a place to sit and play. I know the summer event's still going on, so, you know, please mute your phones if you're playing Fate for an order. We already heard the sounds over and over again, I'm pretty sure.
We will know.
Oh no, it's more, I don't know.
Is that what you played? I know it now.
Please save all summons for after the panel. Don't need any surprise SSRs or SRs making people a little too excited. Alright, so before we start, let's go over a few ground rules. So this presentation is going to be as spoiler-free as possible for the whole Fate series, so I will not be revealing the true names of servants if it is not necessary. And this presentation will be more of an introduction to all the different Fate franchises throughout. I'm not going to try to cover too much on history and lore. I'm pretty sure there was a panel earlier about the whole lore thing. You can go to them instead. And of course, please silence your phones, but vibrate's okay.
We all know you have friends here that you need to stay in touch with, so vibrate is totally okay.
Alright, let's get started. To begin. So first off, this is Kino Kunasu, the creator of the Fate franchise, alongside Type Moon. He is also the writer of the light novel series Kara no Kyokai, Garden of Sinners, which was adapted into a movie a few years ago. He's also the maker of Tsukihime, a lesser-known Type Moon franchise. So, how Fate started, it was a concept he had back in high school, college that he was working on, and while working with Type Moon, he made Tsukihime. But then, after the big success of Tsukihime, he's like, hey, I want to bring back this idea and make it into a visual novel. And the Fate series all centered around what we call the Holy Grail Wars. The Holy Grail War is, sorry. So the Holy Grail War is a big battle royale between 7 magi who summon 7 heroic spirits to fight alongside them, all for a chance to get their hands on the all-powerful, wish-granting Holy Grail. These servants can range between seven classes: Saber, Archer, Lancer, Rider, Caster, Assassin, Berserker.
As you can tell by his shirt, they are very popular.
This one. And these servants can range from heroes of legend, actual historical figures, or beloved storybook characters. Now we all start back at when it first came out as a visual novel back in 2004. The story revolves around a young man named Shiro Emina as he gets swept up into the Holy Grail War after witnessing a battle between Lancer and Archer on his way back home from school.
The 5th one to be exact.
Wait, not yet.
Sorry.
And as a lot of you know, he gets chased down by Lancer, and as he's about to get killed, he miraculously summons Saber by his side, and pretty much from then on, he takes a part of the war. And what Fate Stay Night, the visual novel, offers are 3 routes. All 3 have been made into separate anime adaptations. And now you're wondering, hey, the visual novel, You know, like Kapara? Yes, it is 18 plus. But unfortunately, I cannot show you any of the naughty scenes like I planned. So, slight hint in the picture for where you can find those. Alright, so the first anime adaptation, as well as the first round of Fate Stay Night, is the Fate round, which was adapted by Studio Dean back in 2006. This round focuses more on opening up Shiro's basic character to the whole audience, as well as introduce how Holy Grail War typically goes. This also serves as the first round, but unfortunately it was around a time where visual novel adaptations were abundant and it was just adapted because it was popular, so it focused a lot on Saber's round, but unfortunately they did throw a little bit of the two other routes, so. But we're gonna go on to the actual good adaptation. Fate Stay Night Unlimited Way works, as a lot of you know, as Fate Stay Night Unlimited Budget works. So, this adaptation came out in 2014, I believe. Yeah, in 2014, and this revolves more around Shiro's wish and what he wants to do in the future. His desire to become a hero to save everyone, but the route will ultimately test how much pain he would have to go through in order to fulfill that wish, even haphazardly. This is Rin Tosuko's route, and also Archer's route, and you can find this on Crunchyroll.
Worth it.
And of course, we have the newest adaptation, Fate Stay Night Heaven's Feel. This is the third route in the Fate Stay Night storyline. This is Sakura Maocho's route. This is currently being adapted into a trilogy of movies. The first one, which came out back in 2017, we had the second one come out earlier this year in 2019, and they have announced the third movie to come out next year in the spring of 2020. This route, sorry. So this route focuses more on Shiro's decision between his desire to be with Sakura, but also his duty as a hero, where he has to choose one over the many, kind of questioning his true integrity of whether he wants to be a hero or not. And of course, we come to Fate Zero, which weirdly enough came right here after the visual novel. This is a prequel series this is a prequel to the original Fate Stay Night storyline that revolves around the previous Holy Grail War, the fourth Holy Grail War, that centered around Shiro's adopted father, Kiritsugu's experience through it. This was made to help kind of patch out some of the plot holes found in the original visual novel. Fun fact, Kinoku Nasu actually only supervised the writing of this chapter. The person who actually wrote Fate Zero is actually Gen Urobuchi. As you know, for Sayonara no Uta, The Song of Desire, or more popular, Magica Monica.
I see you, Cupid.
This is also available on Crunchyroll. And now, with that, we conclude the main line of the Fate Stay Night series. Let's go on to the more extended universe, where I feel like a lot of people get way more confused.
Yes.
So let's get on to the actual part that you've probably been waiting for, the other wars. So let's start off with Fate Apocrypha, an anime that came out in 2017 and is available on Netflix. This particular story revolves around the greater Holy Grail War, and it focuses on a runaway homunculus who makes his way off the battlefield, only to discover free will. But after meeting the servant ruler, he finds himself pretty much heading back into the battlefield alongside her. What makes this Holy Grail a little different from the Fate Stay Night one? We have 2 times the servants and 2 times the masters. And we start out, and the Holy Grail War, this Holy Grail War, starts out with a team deathmatch between Team Black and Team Red. And once the other team is wiped out, the remaining team and the remaining members of that team fight it out for the Holy Grail afterwards.
Battle Royale on steroids.
Yep. Alright, and I'm going to go on to this one, Fate Extra. A little trickier to get into because it started out as a game back in 2011 for the PSP. Anyone has a PSP?
Anyone still have those?
I'm pretty sure you can still find a copy of this somewhere on Amazon or eBay.
And a used game store might have the console.
So, I find this series a little confusing because this is a real weird Holy Grail War right here that we have here, where it takes place on the moon, in a virtual reality found on the moon known as the Moon Cell, where you, the protagonist, take place in the Holy Grail War. Now, how the story starts out is that you're caught in a big exhibition match at your virtual reality high school between all the students trying to get into the Holy Grail War. But you are unfortunately immediately slain. But on your dying breath, you'll call out one of 3 servants: Saber, Archer, or Caster. Or, as people who have played the game before will like to tell you, easy, medium, or hard. But that's not all to the Fate Extra series. Now, the Fate Extra series also got an anime adaptation pretty recently, 2018. This stars Saber and the male protagonist, Hakuno, as they make their way up the Moon Cell to obtain the Holy Grail. But on their way to find the Holy Grail, they find out some of the more gruesome happenings of the previous Holy Grail Wars. Just a quick side note on this, on Fate Extra Last Encore, this is not a full-on adaptation of the game, because it takes quite a few liberties, which is up to kind of help people who have not played the game before get into it. So expect a little bit of weirdness.
And this one is also found on Netflix, so y'all might be sharing accounts with friends in the future.
Right. And of course, we come to the actual sequel to the Fate Extra series, which is known as Fate Excel, which came out quite recently, I believe. So the first game back in 2017, and the new game coming out earlier this year. So this takes place after the Holy Grail War in Fate Extra, but unfortunately a new battle has broken out over the 3 regalia, where we have a war of 3 sides of just servants, pretty much fighting it out with 3 different masters at the head of each team to claim the regalia as well as control over the whole Moon Cell. Oh yeah, side note, both these games, both Umbro Star and Excel Link, are available on the PS4 and PC, and I believe the Switch? Yeah, yep, on the Switch as well. Spin-offs. So let's start off with one of my guilty pleasures of the Fate spin-offs. This is Fate Kellyanne, Linear Prisma Ilia, or Fate Prisma Ilia for short. This is an anime that started all the way back in 2013 and is hopefully still ongoing. Still waiting for that 4th season. So this revolves around the character Ilya von Einsberg, one of the masters from the Holy Grail War back in Fate Stay Night, but we're in alternate timeline where we revolve around her, turning into a magical girl, searching for the 7 cards spread throughout Furyuki City. I would like to say it's pretty good. It's kind of like card captors with a little bit of fate thrown in, but I must warn you all. If you are going to tackle this series, there's something I need to warn you about. It's something we call Yuri Lolly fan service. And there is
Pretty much nowadays.
I swear, if you are starting this series, please forgive me. There is a lot of this to go around for the first season, especially second season. But I swear, third season, it gets better, and it goes more back to its route of being more of a Fate series rather than a Magical Girl series. The next one I'm going to introduce you about is the Today's Menu for Emiya's Family, a anime that's been on and off recently since last year, and I believe the last episode came out sometime this year. This is a bit of a more slice of life, easier take on the Fate franchise, where all the servants kind of just forgot about the war and are just living their everyday lives. Pretty much. And as we take a good look in their everyday lives, and we get a few cooking tips from good old Shiro Emiya, who's a really good cook. Though note that all his recipes are Japanese exclusive. So hopefully you do have an Asian market nearby to kind of follow up with his recipes.
My first.
Of course, I think a lot of you know this spin-off, Carnival Phantasm, an OVA series that came out in between 2011 and 2012. This is a fun little parody OVA series that takes jabs at both the Tsukihime and the Fate series, placing the characters in very ridiculous situations, like for example, the various
Racing episode for those who have seen it.
Like the various versions of the Holograph War, like the race like she mentioned, where everybody gets into the race cars and just race it out.
They had cars ranging from quarter machine, child ride, buy into a dragster that, of course, lands her pigs.
Now, of course, I think with those keeping up with anime this season, I'm sure you've been seeing this on the list, the case files of Lord L. Malloy II. That's currently airing right now during the summer. You can catch it on Crunchyroll. This series focuses on the everyday life of Lord L. Malloy II, also known as Waver Velvet. Waver Velvet is a master that participated in the fourth Holograph War, who you will see in Fate Zero. He takes the time to take on various mystery cases to help teach you all a little more about the Fate lore and how magic works in their world. And this section I like to call the Unknown Wars, because a lot of this stuff in this little section is a bit more Japanese exclusive and a little harder to get your hands on. So first off, we have Fate Hollow Ataraxia, which is the official kind of sequel to the original Fate Stay Night visual novel. This came out in 2005. So pretty much after the Holy Grail War, Shiro, alongside Bazet, a master who fell in the original Holy Grail War, are stuck in a 4-day loop of the first 4 days of the Holy Grail War, and their goal is to find a way to break out of it with the help of the Servant Avenger. Yes, this is also original with naughty scenes.
Yeah, I know, right? Just keeps.
Alright, and this is Fate Prototype. This is the original concept of the Fate series. which only got a concept trailer in 2011 as an OVA. This was Kino Fujinasu's original idea for the Face the Night series, where we actually have a male saber, and we have a female protagonist named Ayaka Sajo, who is pretty much brought into the Holy Grail War the same way Shiro has, being chased down by Lancer and saved by Saber. So this series has been adapted into a more modern take known as Fragments of Sky Silver. This can be found as light novels from Japan, or can be found as drama CDs, as they retain the original voice cast that were used for the 2011 OVA. And this is a series that this part of Fate is one that I have not really touched too much. It is known as Fate Strange Fate. It is a currently running light novel in Japan. This, fun fact, this was an April Fool's joke at first, but fans wanted it so much that they had no choice but to adapt it into something. So the big crux of Fate Strange Fate is the fact that you can do that too. And they kind of messed up and made a really bad copy of the Holy Grail War. And this is pretty much their struggle to kind of keep it under control. And now we hit one of the, if not the biggest part of the Fate franchise. I'm pretty sure you've seen cosplays all around the con of it. We're going beyond to Fate Grand Order, the mobile game that has come out two years ago for the US in 2017 and came out 4 years ago for the Japanese in 2015. Alright, so Fate Grand Order is a big diversion from the original Fate storyline, where we no longer have a Holy Grail to worry about. We have to save humanity from total incineration from an unknown force. So you the protagonist, or Ritsuko Fujimaru, alongside Mashkira Light, also known as Shooter, alongside the whole Caldera Security Organization, are the only ones who can save the world from total incineration with the help of many, many servants across all time who are willing to help defend the world from utter devastation.
And like the previous fates, they can range from historical mythical figures like Saber, or even novel characters that I've actually had to explain to him, as well as just straight up mythology. I've seen a few Greek myths thrown in.
Now, I'm going to stick on this because this is definitely one of the biggest things of the Fate franchise. So one of the big things is the story is amazing because it definitely takes you through probably the ultimate Fate fan fiction, where you're pretty much traveling all across different time periods with all these mixed up servants, and pretty much saving each point in time from being severely derailed. With a lot of servants that are quite faithful to their historical counterparts, with a pretty simple gameplay to boot.
The worlds vary from the Old West in the US to Camelot as well.
Now the bad side of this mobile game is that it is a gacha game. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are familiar with the gacha game setup. I'm pretty sure some of you have played Fire Emblem Heroes, Love Live, didn't have too much luck with some of your favorite characters. Unfortunately, with this mobile game, you also have that unfortunate struggle. Because you got some pretty bad ratings here, as I have noted. So we have servants that range from one stars to 5 stars. The 1 and 2 stars you can get for free. Now 3 stars are easy, 40%. Not bad. Silver. Now for your gold servants, it's about 3% for a 4 star and 1% for a 5 star. And usually the 1% are the most popular.
There are stories of people taking out $2,000 loans for this game.
Indeed. And as illustrated in the next picture, not all of us are lucky.
We actually have a friend who blew his entire paycheck on this game just to get one servant, and he still did not get her. Pretty much.
And now to basically wrap up this panel. How do you actually know the Fate franchise? Well, in contrast to a lot of hardcore Fate fans, I would like to say the original Fate visual novel is optional. Because I believe a lot of us have a full-time job and we do not have time to go through hundreds of hours of visual novel talk. So, as a lot of fans will tell you, it is best to start off with Fate Zero. And then from there, you can move on to the actual Fate Stay Night series, Unlimited Blade Works, and Heaven's Feel. Preferably, you should start out with Unlimited Blade Works, because after watching the Heaven's Feel movies, they do kind of skip a little bit of the beginning, because, hey, they assume you already know this franchise well enough. As for the 2006 adaptation, I say you can go with that at your own risk. And then after that, feel free to kind of go a little free reign with the series I have introduced in the Other Wars, as well as the spin-offs. The Other Wars serve as like, hey, you want a little more action, while the spin-offs kind of like want to chillax, or you know.
Be warned, if you start Carnival Phantasm, that song will get stuck in your head. As well it is.
And a big warning to all of you, Fate Grand Order if you dare. Because I know some people who have gotten into it and have ended up spending a ton of money, but even to this day.
You have better odds at Vegas in some cases.
And now let's go on to Q&A. So,